FrenchNews.com.
Firefighters battle a massive blaze at the iconic Notre Dame Cathedral. The fire sent ash pouring onto tourists as flames shot from the roof. The cathedral is among the most visited landmarks in the world.
Good evening once again. Social media tonight booming right now with tourist pictures from the past of Notre Dame.
It marks the center of Paris, and if you are fortunate enough to go to France, you want your picture standing in front of this cathedral. The fire now being called an accident. So we're going to have a local expert in for us right now, Cheryl Morgan, professor of French at Hamilton College. Thank you for coming in to give your perspective on this really iconic building. We talked about it being at the center of Paris. You've been there, you've lived there. What does this mean for France? What does this mean for the world?
For France, it's the heart of some of its historical identity as a royalty, and then as a nation coming into being through the monarchy. It is a symbol of architectural feats that hadn't been seen before. In literature and now in popular musical comedies, it's been a star. Victor Hugo's 1831 novel, The Cathedral of Notre Dame, and I guess about 10 years ago, a Broadway-like musical dedicated to the church as well, in the wake of Les Miserables.
And it's been through so much over the
Yes.
centuries, and to see this happen here today and to watch that spire come tumbling down, just incredible to watch and upsetting. But maybe tell us a little bit about what it has been through over the years.
Well, in the Renaissance, it's been through the religious wars between the Protestants and the Catholics, whose church it was. It managed to survive the revolution, even though in 1789 and the 1790s, the revolutionaries decapitated a lot of the sculptures of the religious figures, because the revolution was a secular revolution. So there was a lot of threat to the church, but it didn't get destroyed. It suffered a lot of disrepair in the first part of the 19th century. The Romantic artists like Victor Hugo started a movement for preserving these national buildings that were considered monuments.
And almost, I was going to say, almost kind of changing the mindset of the French people as well, because preserving, yeah.
It's called patrimoine in French, patrimony, and it is part of the national identity. And so this building is more than just the center of Paris. It's the heart. It's where all the kilometers that go through highways in France start in front of the church on the square. It's called Kilometer Zero.
Recently undergoing a nearly $7 million renovation project. Again, this fire being called an accident right now. A cause has not been released. That's still being investigated. Flames broke out at 6:30 p.m., still burning right now, about 11:30 p.m. in Paris. What's it like in your classroom? What was it like in your classroom today? And what will it be like tomorrow? I can only imagine that the conversation went to this.
Well, I had taught already, and I found out later in the afternoon at around 3:30. It's ironic, though, because this week my intro to French language students did reports on monuments, and of course a couple of them had chosen Notre Dame, so we will definitely talk about it tomorrow. But it was people from all over the college were calling me, my daughter called me, people from off campus were writing about it. It really affected a lot of us who know the city.
We talked about going on social media. You can't go on social media without seeing people posting the pictures. That was the picture they wanted to get when they went to France, and now just almost in memoriam posting those today.
You lived there for a number of years. What was it like being so close to that? You said you could see it from where you lived?
One year I lived one street in from the river, and heard it all the time. It was part of my daily life. And so it's kind of just something you take for granted, but it's beautiful every time you walk by it.
Will they rebuild?
Oh, I think so, yes. Definitely.
Cheryl, thank you so much for coming in. Cheryl Morgan, professor of French at Hamilton College. Again, just talking about the historic significance of Notre Dame, and we really appreciate your insight. Thanks for joining us live.
Thank you for having me.
Let's get a first check now.